right, everyone. So I went on my Zoom class. We got through hip external rotation and internal rotation, and then the Zoom clock ran out. So I'm going to finish up here on my live for you all because I spent a lot of time putting this class together. So we've already gone through our warm-up. So I'll just go through a few rounds of hip cars with you all. But again, we just did hip external rotation, internal rotation, pails, rails, lift-offs, all that good stuff. And so I'll go ahead and finish up here. So, and hopefully I'll post it later. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So, we're going to go ahead, just go into hands and knees real quick. We did a lot of pails, rails, heavy work. I know a lot of people were cramping. So we're going to go hands and knees. Just bring elbow, knee to elbow. Knee comes out. Bring it up nice and tall. Scoop it down. Now reverse. All the way around. And one more. And extend, bring it out. So this should feel pretty good after hip, all the pails rails we just did. So scoop it in, open it, drop the knee, squeeze the glute, bring it down. So if you all are interested in seeing the rest of class, the beginning of class, I'll try and upload that to YouTube for you all. Good, so next what we have coming up, we're gonna go half kneeling. So we're gonna work hip flexors, we're gonna work hip flexion, and then move on to hip extension, okay? So again, if you have your sticks and your blocks, go ahead, we're gonna need both of those. So just because I have a wood floor, I'm gonna use a block right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hang out in our hip flexor stretch. So how do we find that? I want you to think about tucking your tailbone under, and then you're just going to drive forward, holding that pelvic position, all right? So sticks are here to help produce irradiation. We don't want to just be relaxed here. We're not going to get anything out of it. So what I want you to do is just find your line of stretch. Again, protocol is hang out here 2 minutes. But again, in this position, you should not have numbness or tingling in the foot, but if you do, of course, come out of there, regress your stretch a little bit. So we're going to hang out here, breathe, tell our nervous system this is okay. So quick review of pails and rails for this movement. Again, hang out in your stretch here. So pails is going to be slowly ramping up throughout the whole body. You want to think about driving the knee forward and up. So essentially, we're making this movement, but we're not going anywhere, okay? So over time, we're going to build up the intensity. So deep breath in, pack it down to the abs, slowly start to go into our pails contraction. So drive the knee forward and up, 20%. We're going to push our sticks down into the floor. So slowly ramping up 20%, we're going to go up to 40 now. Let's go up to 60, drive it forward. Let's go up to 80, push the sticks down, whole body's matching. Greatest, safest effort. 3, 2, 1. For rails, let go of that contraction, squeeze the glute. See if you get any more range forward. See how I can move a little bit more? 3, 2, 1. Relax. Notice how I don't move. We're going to stay here. This is our new workspace, okay? So with pails and rails, it's super important to not just come out of your stretch, because then our nervous system doesn't learn anything. We don't learn that we can hang out here and we're safe. So this is a systematic way to build strength. So the range of motion we didn't have before, because we didn't have experience producing force there. So now try to build as much usable range as we can get. So hold that new stretch position. Remember, this should not come from your lower back. If you have pain here with this, we need to reset our pelvic tilt, all right? Super important. If that's hard for you, come out of the stretch for right now and try to go very exaggerated. Think about dumping your pelvis forward and then scooping it under. So think about scooping a bucket of water. Now, find that stretch holding that pelvic position. Good. So, round 2. We're going to take a deep breath in, pack the air down, drive sticks down, knee comes up and forward, 20%. Let's go 40%. Good, 60. Keep it up. 80. Greatest, safest effort here. This is individual to you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rail, squeeze the glute. Bring it forward if you can. 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax. Stay in that position though, okay? Just for a deep breath. Good. All right. So now we've done pails, rails. We're going to do some lift-offs and stuff to build in some strength into that range of motion that we just opened up. So what I am going to do, since I have a bunch of blocks, I'm going to use these blocks for lift-offs. So here I have my blocks. I'm just going to line them up right here. So we're going to go hip flexion lift-offs. If you have a stool or anything you can use, you don't need anything. You can just use the floor and try to get your greatest range of motion off the floor. All right? So we're going to put block under other knee. Get your blocks lined up. So from here, my knee, I'm in hip flexion, focusing on this leg we just did pails rails with. So my sticks are still here for support because I want to isolate my hip joint. So I want to squeeze the glute, I want to squeeze my core, keep everything tense, drop down into our sticks. I'm going to lift up, I'm going to hold, and then bring it back down. So notice I'm not at my end range here, but it's still good. I'm still working pretty good. And if you don't have blocks, you can still work this, just trying to get up as tall as you can without getting into the hips, okay? So lift, and then bring it down. Make sure we're working. This should not be easy, so push down to your hips. This is my true hip flexion. Slowly bringing it down. Drive down, lift. Tap down, one more. Good. So, we're going to add one more thing onto this. Now, we're going to go into a half rep hip car, okay? So, pack the air down to the abs as always. Isolate just this one hip. Lift, open, try drop, bring it all the way back. Carve that hip out, bring it up and down. So let's go 2 more reps here. If you feel pinching, try to regress the amount of range that you're working through, okay? You don't need to kill yourself here. Let's go one more up, open, drop that knee, bring it all the way down, bring it up, and tap it down. So, everything we just did, we're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So, moving my blocks out of the way right now, we're going to go pails, rails, other leg. So, here we go. All right. So, same thing here. Tuck tailbone under. Find your line of stretch. It might be different on this side than the other side, all right? So now we're just going to hang out. Take yourself to a happy place. A lot of times with athletes or people who sit at a desk all day, this is going to be pretty brutal, just hanging out here. Or even finding your pelvic tilt. It can be a lot harder than you think. So I would recommend just practicing laying on your back. And practice moving your pelvis independently of your upper back and all that stuff. So again, I want you to make sure you're working through your greatest, safest efforts. You're not killing yourself with this. We can progress through time. Today, I just want you to kind of learn the concept of pails and rails, and then how to utilize that range of motion that you just acquired. So you might get a little sore, but that's okay. So deep breath in, pack it down, sticks dry down to the floor. We're going to drive the knee forward and up towards our nose, 20%. Whole body's matching. All right, we're going to go up to 40. Keep going. Let's go 60. We're going to ramp up to 80. Let's go. Greatest, safest effort. 3, 2, 1. Let go of that front tissue contraction. Squeeze the glute and still hold that pelvic position. Drive into a little bit deeper stretch. 3, 2, 1. Relax all the muscles here. Deep breath in. So again, we're still working right here in this range of motion. All right. Also, I'm still salty about Zoom. I guess I should buy a Zoom account. So, deep breath in. We're gonna do round 2, okay? So after you relax, we're gonna reset. So, deep breath in. Drive sticks into the floor. Knee comes up and forward, 20%. Let's go 40%. 60. Let's go 80. Greatest, safest effort. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, squeeze the glute. Get a little bit deeper if you can. 3, 2, 1. Whew, relax. All right, come on out of there. So, same thing on this side. Grab your blocks if you got them. If not, it's all right. I would highly recommend investing in some yoga blocks though. They're a great tool for mobility work. So, now same thing here. We're gonna work knee flexion lift-offs, and then we're gonna go into half rep cars. So, making sure we're isolating just this hip we're working in now. And if you can't get any higher than this, that's okay. Still try to activate. Still try to lift off, even if you can't lift it off the floor. So, pack the air down, drive sticks onto the floor. Lift, hold, and bring it down. So we're really trying to control this, not compensating anywhere else because that's not true hip flexion. If my lower back is coming in to the game, that's not really my hip. So lift, hold, 3, 2, 1, bring it down. Let's go one more. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. So now going right into our half rep hip cars. Really focus here because a lot of the times your pelvis wants to come along for the ride, and we don't want that. So I want you to lift, open if you can, drop the knee, bring it all the way around. Notice I'm not going into a lot of lumbar extension. So kick back, open up here, swing it around, tap right back down. So really try to focus what's going on in the hip. If it helps you visualize ball and socket joint, do that. Press down to your sticks. So it's not a race. It's not a competition. This is really you trying to have a better joint. All right? So we're going to finish up with some hip extension work. You learned a lot of hip flexion there. So now what I want you to go into is we're going to be on our hands and knees. And we're going to work one side through at a time. So I like to do that to kind of get more of a fatigued effect, all right? So we're gonna go on our hands and knees. Grab a tennis ball if you have one. I know I didn't say have one, but if you do, awesome. So you wanna put that in your, I call that your knee pit, I don't know. Put it behind your knee. So stay nice and stable here. Squeeze up, open, drop the knee, heel comes up. Notice how I'm still not going into my lower back because that's not my hip. Slow, slow, slow. Bring it in. Good, so one more here. So you are never, ever too good for the basics. All right, I do my cars probably every day, multiple times a day. So now what I want you to do is still keep that tennis ball there in your knee pit, we'll call it. Squeeze up, so create that tension. I want you to swivel the heel out as much as you can. Now swivel it in as much as you can. So when it's in, that's hip external rotation. When I swivel it out, it might be a little harder because that's hip internal rotation. So we're just pivoting. We call these axials. So we just worked through hip cars. We're going into axials, and if you are squeezing this tennis ball, you should feel your hips on fire right now. So go ahead, let go of that. From here, still stand on the same hip. So we have a lot of choices here. We're gonna go into lift-offs. So if you have your blocks, that is awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and stack my blocks up here. We're gonna go into bent knee first, then we're gonna go into straight leg. So if you can, the more easier, I will say, way is to just come here, hands and knees, squeeze and lift. All right, you can work here. I'm gonna go a little bit more hard, so the closer your knee is forward, it's gonna be a lot harder. See how this angle is a lot more intense. So I'm still gonna work bent knee. From here, what you wanna do is engage everything. If you want, you can put another block in between your chest and your leg if it's close enough. So I'll do that. So deep breath in, push up into the shoulders, squeeze the glute, lift, and tap it down. Let's try to go 6 reps here, okay? So here, true hip hip extension, sorry. 3 more. And I don't want you to just come up and down, try to hold for at least 2 seconds. Bring it down, let's go 1 more. Good, so that was our bent knee. We're gonna go straight leg now. So I wanna move these blocks, but I will say you can still work from this position here. So if you want, you can be all the way up. I want you to just point the toe, work here, or try to squeeze and lift, hold here, or come all the way down to this position. This is where I'm working. So knees bent. We're gonna first extend. We're gonna work, point the toe, bring it down. Once you feel comfortable with this, try to lift and bring it down. So whatever choice you chose, try to work through 6 reps. So we're squeezing the whole core. Everything is lighting up here. Squeeze, hold, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Relax. All right, switch sides, same thing. If you can't tell, I'm dying. So last thing here, and you can notice how all this took an hour, if you were here with me earlier. So squeeze, going right into our hip cars. So you always reverse, squeeze, open up, bring it in, tap down. Make sure you're not letting the chest come down, so we're not sloppy. We're having good form here. Knee up, open up the gate, drop the heel, drop the knee, sorry. Good, extend, open, sweep it forward, and touch down. So Same thing, squeeze that tennis ball, lacrosse ball, tape ball, whatever you have. All right, so from here, squeeze that tennis ball, heel comes out. I'm feeling it right now, so if you're not feeling it, really try to work those outer limits. And if you haven't noticed, this is not yoga. So if anybody ever asks you if Kinstretch functional range conditioning is yoga, it's not. So nothing against yoga, this just isn't it. So scoop it out, work, 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 squeeze it in, work it this way. Woo, bring it down. Oh my goodness. All right, so same thing, bent knee, hip extension. I hope you all are enjoying me dying right now. So here, grab your blocks if you need them. Remember, I gave you options here. There's no right or wrong, essentially. So wherever you are today is awesome. I'm glad you're here. So again, tense your whole body, push up into the shoulders, pat the ear down, lift up, and tap. I always have to hold myself accountable here. I always drop my chest. So stay strong through the shoulders. This is 3, 4. And you notice I'm not cheating this because why would I cheat? That's just going to set me up for failure. So I'm just noticing there's things I can work on here. 5. Last one. And if you can't lift off, just try to lift off. Good. So, move your blocks out of the way. Gonna go into straight leg. So, wherever you are able to lift off, stay in that position. Remember, we had a few. You can be right here if you need. You can be right here. You can grab your block, place it here. Ready? 6 reps. Slowly bring it down again. Try to control this movement. And if you're feeling a pinchy in the lower back, maybe try to come up a little taller. Work through less of an aggressive angle. Maybe think about bracing your core. Hold 2, 1. Let's go 2 more reps. You got this. I'm really just pep talking myself. All right, last one. 3, 2, 1. Woo. All right. I don't know about you, but my hips are feeling great now. So, thank you all for joining me. I wish my Zoom actually worked. But the whole point of this class was to raise awareness for the foundation of NEDA, so National Eating Disorder Association. And that's a really big thing for me. Having struggled with that for so long, that's really what I want to bring awareness about for other people who need resources and just know it's okay to talk about. So if you enjoyed this class, please let me know. I'd love some feedback. If you'd like to have another class, let me know. I really enjoy doing this stuff. And yeah, just if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope your hips feel great.